simply, again, a crash plan, and it gives you a list and priority of what you should be looking for in the event of an emergency with your dog. Airway, cardio, respiratory, abdomen, spine, head, pelvis, limbs, arteries and veins, and then finally your nerves. Now before we get them all harnessed up and go on out and show you what you can do with that sled that's actually being pulled by him, let's talk about some of the commands that you're going to be using. And I use these commands through everything. I would use them in dog sledding, I would use them when he's pulling a sled of this nature, and then finally in the last segment what we're going to talk about is using a pack with your dog, you know, a dog backpack basically. I used all the same commands, and that's that repetition. You know, when you're training a dog, that's how we get that desired behavior. You know, it's constant repetition, repetition, repetition. So why not use the same commands for every activity that you're using and doing? So one of the easiest ones is obviously, you know, we're going to tell our dog that we want him to get going. So it's going to be like, let's go. So you're going to go like, let's go. Whatever your command is to get him moving, you know, I'll say let's go or let's go. However it is, you know, just be continuous. And everybody does it with a dog anyway. You know, even with a dog on lead, you're like, come on, let's go. You know, you get his attention and he's going to come along. Another one that you're going to want to do is obviously you're going to need him to stop. So you're going to use, myself, I use a whoa command, and it's just a low whoa. And you reinforce it by either one, using the brake on the dog sled, two, using the snub line that you are the brake because you're the brake now, or three, if you're backpacking with the dog, you know, you have them on lead because most parks in most areas that you are in want you to have your dog on lead. That's just a rule that's out there. And it's a good one too because if your dog has a high prey drive, if he wins a deer or some type of game and he goes and he doesn't have any recall, you've just lost your dog. So you have him on lead and you're going to reinforce that with the lead. By the same token, if we're going down a hill, we don't want them to run full bore down the hill because we just don't know what's down there. Something could injure them while you're going. So I use the easy command, and it's just an easy. It'd be like easy, easy. And again, reinforce it with the brake, the snub line, or the lead. We're going to come into turns, and you'll see when I call turns out there. 2 turns, G and haw. Your G, the command for G is for a right turn. Haw is for a left turn. Dog sledders have been using it for a very, very long time. That's just what I use, and again, I continue to use those commands because it helps refresh in his mind and keeps his training going. So it's G for right turn, haw for left turn. Finally, the last one is probably one of the more difficult ones, is a straight ahead or an on by. There's going to come a point in time when you want your dog to continue to keep going. You don't want him to stop and smell a signpost or scent post from another animal. I use straight ahead or on by. And the way that I get them accustomed to that is once they go and stop, I'll continue to walk, and I just actually walk into them. Once they understand that, and you keep saying on by, and you run into them, they'll start to go a little bit more. I'm not talking about kicking them. I'm not talking about hurting them. I'm just talking about giving them a gentle nudge. Most dog behavior, dogs will try to get in between each other and they kind of try to posture. And if this one's looking here and this one wants to go over there, he's going to push him out of the way. That's just the nature of the beast. You know, just use that to your advantage. You're a dog. You're the leader. You're the alpha. Okay? Well, assert your alpha, you know, male wisdom there and just kind of nudge him out of the way. So let's take a look at those. Again, there they are on the board. Write them down, jot them down. Come up with your own system of commands. You don't have to use these, but these are the easiest and they just work with every activity that you're going to do. Now we're going to go on outside. We'll get them all harnessed up and let's go take them for a walk.
Hey buddy. What's up? Oh, you want to go to work? Huh? All right. We'll go for a walk.
So, you know, ultimately that's what you want. You want a dog that's eager and he's ready to go and he wants to go to work. If I pull that harness out, he'll probably still go a little bit more crazy and he'll want to get going.
Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Wanna go to work? Huh? Go to work? Yeah, I know. I know. I got you. You're a good boy. Oh. Yeah. Got you. Yeah. Easy.
Alright, so let's take a look at this right now, and as you can see, he's in harness and he's ready to go. It goes back to that single tug line, which again is attached to the sled, which comes back to the snub line, which is attached to our tree that we use for an anchor. You know, one of the most important things is, it's an old saying that goes back to dog sledding: lose your team, lose your life. All right, you don't want to lose your dog, especially if your dog is carrying your gear and your kit. Okay, so it's always a good idea to have something alongside with yourself, you know, as a duplicate to what the dog is hauling as well. The other thing too is when you stop on a dog sled, I have two means of securing the dogs. One is with a snow hook. The other way is with the snub line. All right, the snub line right here is what I have tied off to the tree so that he doesn't go anywhere. Something like this is always common when you're pulling a sled, you know, depending upon your trail and how close the trees are, obviously. Your sled can cut a corner and can ultimately get hung up on a tree. Okay, it usually gives a jar to the dog once he stops, but we always try to get this ahead of time if we can, you know. So just something to be aware of when you're on the trail. This is what you want to see. You want to see a nice taut line, and that's where you want to keep him until he's ready to go. All right, Tom, let's go. Come on. I can control his speed by using this snub line around me. I become his anchor, I become his brake, much like I'm the claw blade brake on the sled, on the dog sled. Get up to your turn. Tonka, ha, ha, good boy, good boy, good dog. Nope, ha, ha, ha. Let's go, come on. There you go. Alright, one of the things that you could use to help your dog train when you're giving him commands and he's first learning, especially if he's pulling the sled or if he's using his dog pack or however you're doing it, is use snowmobile trails. They're the greatest thing in the world because what they do is they cut a very narrow swath, almost like snowshoes, so he can follow that, and you can use that to your advantage. When you come up to a Y, you call your turn. Call either a G for a right turn or HA for the left turn. Let's take a close-up look at a trail. As you can see right here, you have a nice Y. Okay, so we call a G turn here, call a haw turn here for right and left. And subsequently, as you're going along the trail, just lead him into the turns, and that's what you're going to wind up doing. Let's take a look at how I started doing it with my dog.
Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy.
You know, there's going to come a point in time when the trail isn't going to be there for your dog. You're going to have to break trail for your dog. Again, this is one of those things that we talk about. You're in a team. So, I'm the one with the snowshoes. I'm a lot taller, so I go out in front. I break the trail for the dog. And then he follows me. Okay. Good boy. Good boy. Come on. You know, when you're breaking trail, pulling load, working with your dog and whatnot, it's important that you maintain a close watch on his fitness level and his endurance level. So it's actually pretty warm out today. It's about 43 degrees. He's in full winter coat. I don't have much of a load on him, but we are breaking through some trail. So it's important to let him rest when he needs to rest. If you're running several dogs and they're all of different ages, one of the things that I like to keep in mind is I know that the entire group is rested when the oldest dog gets up and he's ready to go. Something to keep in mind. You know, base it upon your oldest dog, because you know that once the oldest dog is rested and he's up, you know that the younger dogs are also ready to go as well. Hi, bud. Hi, buddy. Something that you want to take notice of when your dog is working is notice how his head is down. He's pulling into it. He's hitting to the harness. Notice his head is down. His ears are down. Focused. Notice his tail is straight out just about. He's got good work ethic, even for 9 years old. That's what you want to see in your dog. Alright, so anyway, that's the second half, or the second part of Dogs and Dog Travel. I realize it's the first two segments were basically geared towards the snow. And, you know, I have a northern breed dog. But I don't want that to discourage anybody that doesn't think that they can use their dog in the wintertime. I've seen teams of Akitas. I've seen teams of bloodhounds. I've seen teams of golden retrievers, albeit they didn't fare as well as a northern breed dog. But there's all types of different breeds of dogs that you can use for draft work. There's Rottweilers, there's Bernese Mountain Dogs, you know, there's St. Bernards. Just because, you know, they're not like a Malamute or a Husky or an Alaskan Husky, you're not in it. You don't have to be in it to race, is what I'm trying to tell you. And you can use them for all kinds of draft work. You know, just using this sled right here, you know, opens up another possibility for you. You can use it by yourself, you know, on snowshoes, or you can use it with a dog. You can carry extra gear for hot tenting if you need. You can carry trapping gear. You can carry firewood back to your camp. You know, once you got that all emptied out, you know, load it up with firewood and drag it back to camp, or, you know, have your canine partner drag it back with you. It just has multiple opportunities. While you're going out with your dog, just make sure, keep your sessions short. Make sure you're in the right frame of mind to be with him that day. You know, everything bad travels down lead. If you're having a bad day, you don't want to transfer it to the dog. Okay, he's going to get upset, you're going to get upset, and it's going to be
personified because you're in a bad mood to begin with. You know, he has bad days. I have bad days, and you have to look at that for what it is. He's having a bad day right now because he keeps falling through the snow. In the next episode, what we're going to do is we're going to go into more of the emergencies related to dogs, inhalation of substances, ingestion of substances, injuries, and different things of that nature. And then we'll talk about the last thing, dog packing. If you haven't figured it out by now, we'll go through that as well. Until the next one, walk the woods.